collectors, and welcome to Long's Toys. Today we are taking a look at the last two Pacific Rim 4-inch page punchers from McFarlane Toys. So this is kind of the last of the normal retail release. Apparently there's also an Amazon exclusive 3-pack, which has some like repaint / remolds of some of the existing figures. So not any new quote-unquote characters, but like a different version of Gypsy Danger, and I think there's also a different version of Striker Eureka in there, and I forget who maybe the third one is. But if you've been buying the normal retail releases, this will complete the comic series of Pacific Rim Aftermath that comes with the Kaiju, because there's only 4 issues of that. But there are actually 6 issues of Pacific Rim Tales from the Drift that come with the Jaegers, and the last 2 come with that Amazon exclusive 3-pack apparently. So gonna try and look for that at some point. Still been checking Amazon, haven't seen it yet, so I'll keep an eye on that. But if you've been buying all the retail releases, the series that comes with all the Kaiju will be completed, and then you'll have to get the last 2 issues from that 3-pack if you're also collecting the series that comes with the Jaegers. So today we are taking a look at Leatherback and Cherno Alpha. So apparently Leatherback is a Category 4 Kaiju. Again, I don't know what the rankings mean, but he kind of resembles like a gorilla, which is why I assume his name is Leatherback. And then Cherno Alpha is a Mark 1 Jaeger. I don't know why, but every time I look at this, to me, it kind of looks like he's wearing a top hat. I don't know, just kind of the impression I get. Again, I saw the movie, I think, maybe one time years ago, so I really don't remember it very well. But I really like these packs. I mean, $20 for a pack, you get the 4-inch figure, you get the little cityscape worth kind of like the little square of the city with the building that goes into a couple pieces, 2 military vehicles, and a comic book. So I feel like it's pretty good value for what you get. But yeah, so on the back of this one, you can see this is Cherno Alpha. If we take a look at the back, you get kind of a schematic or blueprint of the Jaeger with the stats. And then for the Kaiju over here on the back, you get kind of a nice bit of artwork. And then again, the stats over here. And then you have some artwork here on the front, down here in the corners, which is kind of cool. So nice packaging. I like it quite a bit. I'm going to go ahead and get these 2 out of the box and we'll take a closer look. So here's everything out of the packaging. We'll start over here with Leatherback. Really cool giant Kaiju here, and the figure feels very weighty. It's definitely got a heft to it. Really nice detailing. If we try to zoom in here on the Kaiju face, I think they did a great job. Very tiny little beady eyes. They painted the mouth, which is this really cool effect, which I think looks great. And then all of the blue throughout the body, which I think looks really cool. Nice detailing here on the back. In terms of articulation, the arms can move. So you have a swivel here at the shoulder. You also have a swivel here, like kind of a 45-degree swivel at the elbow. And then you have a kind of ball joint here in the midsection. So this whole section here is solid. There's nothing in the legs, but you do have this movement here. And you can kind of turn it side to side, but it seems to want to move in and out more so than anything else. But very, very cool. Definitely has that gorilla vibe with the giant arms. And you can definitely have him. Also, he can kind of drive a car. No, but it's a really cool look. I like it quite a bit. I definitely like this guy a lot. And like I said, he's got a heft to him. He's very, very heavy. Very solid figure there. Of course, we have the little cityscapes. Now, both of these are very, very similar. Honestly, all of the ones that have come in these boxes or packs are very similar. The like little military vehicles differ somewhat, but these 2 packs have the exact same 2. So we have this kind of like tank vehicle, and the little turrets do move, which I appreciate. I was not expecting that the first time, but I have come to expect it now, as they are very intricate little vehicles here, which I think is kind of cool. Some nice tiny detailing. And then we have these Humvee vehicles, which have no articulation, but still very cool little vehicles. You can have the monsters smash them. They can drive around in the city. Now, the little cityscapes don't actually connect together in any way, but you can kind of, situate them all next to each other. And so if you have bought like the entire line, you could build out a little cityscape here and have them kind of knock over the buildings. And the buildings are very cool. They're very simplistic how they work. And we will have our giant Kaiju smash one down for us. They're just 4 little sections. And the nice thing about them is they're not completely hollow. Like, they're hollow underneath, but they do have this kind of like concrete and like girder section here molded in, which I always thought was kind of cool. And then you have that on the top of every section, and then it's hollow underneath. But the connections are exactly the same. So that goes like that. If you turn it around, it's still the same connection. So it's very simple to put these together. You just have to make sure you don't put them upside down, but it'll be very apparent if you're trying to put them on upside down. And so they just fit together very easily. And then you kind of sit it in this little spot right here. And then pop this on, and then you have the little roof section. Now, the only part of these that's actually different are these little roof sections. But you can, of course, mix and match because, like I said, the connections are universal. If you wanted to make one building taller than the other, you could absolutely do that. If I can put this back on correctly. There we go. So it's kind of fun. Like I said, if you bought all of these, you could mix and match, have some buildings taller than others, you know, however you want to handle it. But they're all cross-compatible, which I think is really, really cool, and I like that quite a bit. So you can move these around very simply. Or you could turn this way if you wanted, however you want it. And they look pretty cool. If you see them kind of like you pose them in the cityscape, I think that works pretty well. Obviously, this guy's quite large, so he'd probably be a little difficult to fit in between the buildings, but he's definitely got those giant arms ready to knock everything down. You could pretend maybe he's climbing, but I think he would mostly just, yeah, it's just not going to work out. He's very hefty. But yeah, I think these are very cool. I like these a lot. I think the inclusion of these is really nice. And I've had people ask me how they scale with Super Mini Pla or like Choto Ultraman, and they work great. Honestly, Choto Ultraman works very well. I've shown that off in some of the previous videos. Super Mini Pla might be a little taller, but again, if you use some of these pieces to make the buildings a little taller, you could make it scale, and that could totally work. So that's kind of cool. So you have some options there. So I like those a lot. And the little military vehicles here are also pretty cool. They just kind of make nice little set dressing to have them, you know, be around. And then you can just have the Kaiju come and smash them, knock them over, stuff like that. So I think that's kind of cool. It's just more detail added to the scene. And I think that's pretty great. Let's go ahead and move on to this guy whose name currently escapes me. Cherno Alpha. There we go. So when I look at this guy, I can't tell if these are supposed to be the eyes or if this is kind of like the, I mean, technically eyes. I know it's a robot, but I guess what would you call it? Camera, display, whatever. They're obviously humanoid in design. So when I look at it and I think of like this as the eye, and then this is like kind of like a large top hat. Otherwise, if I think of these as the eyes, it reminds me of one of those like Ultraman Kaiju monster with the big like giant saucer mouth. So I guess it depends on how you want to look at it, but it's a very interesting design articulation wise. Now I think there's a hinge in here and it's very difficult to get any use out of it, so you can move these around, but because of the way he's designed and he's got these like cardboard plastic pieces, I don't know why I said cardboard, it's not cardboard at all, but the way he's got these bulges here in the plastic for the design, it kind of makes it so you can't use the hinge. But also the hinge is just kind of tight in the way that it doesn't even really feel like it wants to bend. So I'm really not sure. But you can definitely rotate the hand around, no problem. So you can go to about that far, and you can go back probably about that far. But because of the way it's designed, I don't know, it just doesn't feel like it wants to move around all that much. And I don't think it's a ball joint. It's very hard to see in there. I'm trying to move this around so I can actually see the joint. I think it's a hinge. Maybe it is a ball joint. I don't know. It's very hard to tell. If I try to look in there, yeah, I don't know. It doesn't want to move around all that much, unfortunately. So I'm not getting much out of the arms, but he's got a great elbow bend, so no problem there. He almost kind of looks like he's got large boxing gloves because the arms are so long. He kind of reminds me of like a Rock'em Sock'em robot, if I'm being honest. So but he's got that kind of great pose like he's a boxer, and I think that works really well. So I don't know, maybe that's why the arms are kind of stuck in this pose. I'm not 100% sure. I can't really see far enough in here because, again, because of the helmet and these pieces on the side. Even if it could bend a ton, there wouldn't be much to do with it, I feel like. So you kind of have that much articulation. But the elbows work great. For the hips, you have ball joints. You can kind of move them in and out slightly. Kind of comes packaged like this, which makes them a little bow-legged, but you can kind of rotate them out to straighten that out a little bit. Kick really far forward, which is nice. Can't really kick any farther back because, again, the molded piece is kind of hitting into the leg there. But you can get a good bit of motion there to the front. Can't really kick out to the side all that much. You have a tiny little bit of play there. But then he does have a nice solid, I would say over 90 degrees in the knee. So it's a cool design, and I don't need them to be super articulated, I'll be quite honest. I mean, I kind of just need him to, you know, walk and punch, and if he can kick, more so the better. But he can stand. He stands very well. You can, you know, get those hips out to the side so that he can stand well. The arms don't move all that much, but again, they move enough in the directions that I need them to, so he can definitely, you know, box this giant gorilla. So yeah, is he one of the best of the line? I would say probably not, but it's a very charming design. It's a very awkward design, but I think that's part of the charm, I think, because it's so stylized. And yeah, he's fun. I think he's pretty good. Like I said, probably not one of my favorites, but nothing wrong with him. I think probably Gypsy Danger is probably the best one in my opinion. Just really love that design, and his articulation really worked out well. Although Striker Eureka is pretty great too. Anyway, I think these two are pretty great, honestly. Let me zoom out here a bit. I love the cityscapes. I think those really work. The little military vehicles are just kind of a bonus that kind of just add to the world building. The two 4-inch figures I think work really well. The Kaiju, I would say, pretty much as a standard for the line, have less articulation, but they're solid, dense figures with detailing and a lot of, well, I should say with nice paint applications and a lot of molded detail. So just overall, I think they're good, solid figures. And then all of the Jaegers have had historically more articulation than the Kaiju. You know, basically what you need, shoulders, elbows, hips, knees. Sometimes head will move side to side, obviously not in this case. But they're fun. I mean, they're cool little 4-inch figures. They scale with other 4-inch figures. Again, doesn't really make sense to have something that's supposed to be a giant city-sized robot scale with, like, a 4-inch Fortnite figure. But if you just want to put all your 4-inch figures together, they are about the same size. But yeah, like I said, I think the cityscapes work well for, like, Choto Ultraman figures, because in Universe, they would kind of be around the same size. And Super Mini Pla, you know, giant robots, I think would work. Actually, I happen to have, I think it's Ryu Teiho. I just built him the other day. So you can kind of see he would fit very well with the cityscape in this scenario. He could help the Jaeger fight off this giant kaiju, and I think that could work really well. So I think that's kind of cool. I like having all these things, you know, make sense to be in scale with each other, and I think that's a lot of fun. So yeah, they're good toys. I like them a lot. I mean, like I said, I can understand some people are looking at the $20 price tag and thinking that's a lot, but you do get a figure, the little cityscape, the two military vehicles, and a comic book. And I think that, you know, for that, I think the value is there. I was lucky enough to get these on Entertainment Earth, where they had the buy one, get one half off. So that kind of averages them out to about $15 a piece. And for that, I think that's definitely a great price. That sale might still be going on, or like a new version of that sale. I think they have in-stock items, buy one, get one half off. So, I mean, not a commercial for Entertainment Earth. Just if you can get these for a little bit cheaper, they might be in stock still. You could check over there. That's where I got mine. So I like these a lot. I think they're a lot of fun. I'll be on the lookout for that Amazon 3-pack and check that out when I finally find out exactly what that is and what it's going to cost, because that's going to be a factor. But yeah, for $15, $20 a piece, I think these can be a lot of fun, especially if you have a lot of other 4-inch figures or things that you kind of can have them be compatible with. The cityscape pieces are really nice for that. So yeah, I think they're a lot of fun. Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. And as always, thanks so much for watching.